We are back on Steele and Vance. And Linda, you know what? I think each and every week on this program, we have touched on the issues at hand when it comes to homelessness, addiction, poverty, hunger.
We've been talking about it for years,
Yeah.
and the problem seems to be getting worse. And we see the city and the province and the federal government spending all kinds of money, billions of dollars.
Billions.
And the problem doesn't seem to resolve, and we see more misery. What is the answer? We're hoping our next guest can give us some insights. Dr. Julian Summers is an addiction specialist at SFU. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be with you.
You actually said recently that for all the billions of dollars that the various levels of government are spending, the taxpayers should demand a rebate because it's not working. Why not? What is happening right now that is wrong-headed?
Many things are wrong, but I think the chief one that led to that outburst on my part was that there is very clear evidence to guide much more effective ways of assisting people and using the resources that we have, including information that we have within our grasp. That information has been presented to members of this government, the public servants, as well as elected officials, and they have not only ignored the advice and the information, but they've taken steps aggressively to set back the research agenda and our ability to document what's happening.
Why?
I'm going to hold on. Let me knock this down a little bit because it's layperson's term, if I may. Are you saying that there is research and documentation of what has happened, what has gotten us to here, that is being destroyed or being asked to be destroyed or being not looked at?
Yeah, SFU was actually ordered to destroy a database that spans multiple government ministries, has been developed over a period of about 20 years. And this is initially a government-driven initiative that I was honored, happy to play a role in helping to curate on the university side.
Right.
And it's been the source of, I would say, most of what has been identified empirically about the BC population. So where do people start off experiencing homelessness? Where are the hot spots? What are the places where people are not only homeless but admitted to hospital for mental illnesses and for addictions repeatedly, and where they start becoming involved with crime? And then what happens? How many of those people wind up moving to places in cities like the downtown east side?
Right.
And then what happens? What about interventions that have been tried, like the drug treatment court, the downtown community court, also in Victoria, various projects that have been implemented by the province, spanning multiple ministries? Well, what are the outcomes of those in terms of crime reduction, reduced hospital stays, increases in people returning to work? Because almost everyone who is in these positions lists as one of their goals resuming paid work. And I'm emphasizing resuming because they've worked before. So we have a lot of built up information, most of which has been published in peer-reviewed journals, documenting things that help people and also the things that are all too common, unfortunately, that keep them stuck. They have this perverse impact. They cost on average for each person, I'm talking about thousands of people around the province now, on average receiving about $55,000 in public services year over year, while they remain on the outs. They don't have a decent place to live, they don't have anybody providing long-term support, and they're in and out of crisis-oriented services, including prisons and hospitals. So we now have not only all of this information about where are there people in need and how have these various programs gone, but we've had the opportunity with people's consent to engage them in randomized controlled trials and use these same data to see, okay, if we had the money to implement what's regarded as the most effective service, and we have had that chance, what are the outcomes?
Yeah.
And we showed, lo and behold, that in the first year, compared to what's going on in Vancouver currently, the reduction in crime was 71%. less crimes, 50% fewer medical emergencies, and almost everyone experiences housing stability. It costs the same, believe it or not, to provide this level of support to people as it does to leave them homeless.
But the point being that they want to live where they want to live. They don't want to be warehoused in one big building where there's a bunch of other people with chronic issues. And I think that's why maybe government said, okay, we don't agree with your research because we've already decided on another plan, so throw it out. But because we're running short on time, I want to ask your opinion on safe supply, because a lot of activists in this city say that's the answer. Just give drug users the drug of their choice and then the problem is solved.
Yeah, there's unfortunately, I don't know too many people who are saying that the problem would be solved. But the idea of giving, that the best we can do for somebody who's homeless, who is struggling with mental illness, who's got no one in their corner, that the best we can do for them is provide them with an alternative supply of drugs is crazy. It is simply crazy. There is no place on the planet where any other government that I'm aware of is contemplating this, and there's no place that's done it. But here in BC, we have, unfortunately, a concentration of power among people who appear to be convinced that the folks that we see on our streets are beyond help. There's nothing we can do for them. There's no hope. So we can do things like provide them with a place to consume drugs.
So we're just going to stop them from dying of tainted drugs. Is what the safe supply
we're not even
message
gonna, we're
is?
not even, I mean, we're
But
not.
that's the hope of the messenger, right? The person that's looking for safe supply, is that not about fentanyl more than anything?
It does appear, it is about fentanyl, at least in large measure.
Right.
But the way I would put it is we are basically being held hostage by a group of leaders who are insisting that our problem is external. It is this externally administered toxic drug supply. What can we do, right? It's actually not a lot different than blaming the war on drugs, or than saying we need a war on drugs. We've got to fight, something out there. But all the evidence shows that the way we can make improvements is in here. It's in our communities. It's about focusing on demand, not supply. And the people who are promoting this supply-oriented focus are also people who have vested interests in buying what they're selling. They're people who own drug companies. They're people who have interests in vending machines to dispense drugs. And these are people who don't have expertise in addiction. They don't have, they're not citing any addiction research.
Right.
If they were reading addiction research, they would see that major organizations are saying these are the things that you should not do.
We got to have Dr. Summers back.
Yeah, because
We got a lot to talk to you about.
started to scratch the surface of this, and there's so much more. And I mean, unfortunately, the story's not going away.
You'll come back,
so
won't
can
you?
we have you
I'd
come
love
back
to.
again in the new year?
I'd love to.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you, guys.
Dr. Julian Summer, SFU addictions expert. There's a lot to unpack there. So when we come back, we're going to lighten things way up.
Yes.
And we're going to have some gift ideas for your four-legged friends in the family. And also, if you want to avoid holiday hazards for the pet, stay tuned for that next on Steel and Vance.